Did you know that gladiators rarely died in battle? That daylight savings time was originally intended for bug collecting? And that the man who created the headless horseman also invented Santa Claus? Learn the truth behind these and much more in my new book, Facts That Aren't True. Link in the description.
You want to talk about how we're not all related to genetic sequencing, or how you guys leave out the part where we've only sequenced like 1% of the human DNA?
Yeah, that's not even remotely true.
That is true.
It's not. We've sequenced the entire human genome.
You know how long the human genome is?
Pretty long, yeah.
Yeah, it's like three
Yeah, 3.5
galaxies.
billion base pairs. Yeah, and we have
Yeah,
sequenced the
3
entire thing.
billion.
They actually just finished it. I think it was last year.
Bro, you could look it up. Like,
I have
it's
looked it up.
not true.
This is just known. The
There
Human
are
Genome
parts.
Project started in the very, very late 90s, and it was complete. They published it in like 2006, but there was still some work that they hadn't done yet. But the entire thing was completely sequenced. They finally got that done like last year, I believe. May have been 2 years ago.
The reason why I say that is that 90% of human DNA doesn't contain the
Genes?
the
Yeah, I know. But a
that
genome is not genes. A genome is the entire sequence of DNA in your somatic cells. And it has been sequenced.
well, what do you think of um, non-sequenced DNA?
What do I think about it? It exists.
Yeah, and that's 90% of human DNA.
Yep. Which is deeply inconsistent with creation.
So how can you sequence something that is not codable? You said that the whole
Oh
human.
man. Okay. This is just so incredibly basic. So here's a it's not showing through. Here's a book, right? This book contains no gibberish. These are all words. But theoretically, I could write something that is 90% gibberish and 10% words. Would it be possible for somebody like you to copy what I wrote? Yes. So there's the answer to your question.
Yeah, the 10%, right? Or
No, you could
1%.
copy literally the entire thing. All you have to do is read it and copy what it says. Gibberish or no gibberish.
Leave the rest of it out, I guess.
No, you wouldn't have to leave the rest of it out.
You just said that 10% is filled, but the other 90% is not.
I said it's gibberish. You can copy gibberish. It's not even hard to do. You see a A, you write down the letter A. You see a Q, you write down the letter Q.
But that's not what non-coding DNA is, though. Because it's
Here,
non-coding.
but
You
let,
can't
let's
sequence
let's let's put this into practice. Repeat after me. I guarantee you can do this. D
D,
U
E,
M
M, B.
B
All right. Yeah.
A
ASS.
S
S.
S. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So how can you code, right, the non-coding portion when it doesn't contain those sequences or those acids, I forgot what they're called. It's been a while. Like, how could you even sequence that when they don't, they're not present in that portion of the human genome?
I don't know what makes you think that just because a sequence of DNA is non-coding genetic material that we can't copy it. That's not how it works. Your cells copy all of your DNA, gene or no gene. all you have to do, because there are bonding rules, and we've invented technologies that can cut up the DNA and splice it into like known sequences and attach it. And little by little, we have built up the exact sequence of those base pairs. So there's just, we have got to get away from this because it's just mind-numbingly pointless. But the idea that just because part of your genome, even most of your genome, isn't genes, has nothing to do with whether or not we can read the sequence of nucleic acids or the sequence of base pairs.
They lack base pairs. That's all I'm saying. How can you sequence something that lacks amino acids? Or, because the way you sequence DNA is, through the 4 letters, right?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, and that part of the human DNA doesn't contain those letters, so I don't.
It does. Look, like I said, we have to get away from this because you're just less than incompetent on this. So what other questions do you have?
I thought you guys didn't call it Big Bang or something. What happened to that?
It's, we call it the Big Bang.
Nah, I've talked to you before. You said Big Bang is not. Or actually, I talked to someone before where they said, who was a scientist? Maybe Simon or I don't know. But they said that the Big Bang is not. There was no explosion. It was an explosion. Nobody knows. It's
correct. It was not an explosion. Yeah.
It's an expansion of the universe.
Yep. Perfect.
Yeah. When you say the Big Bang, it kind of insinuate that there was an explosion. Bam. And everything started expanding. So I just wanted to touch up on that.
What do you want to touch up on?
I mean, what do you mean by Big Bang?
The expansion of the universe.
Exactly. So
yeah, we come up with phrases for phenomena that aren't that are imperfect. That doesn't mean anything. It's too bad that people get the wrong idea about stuff, but whatever. Blue-green algae is not only is it not algae, it's not even a eukaryote. It's an absolutely horrible name, but that's what we call it. So, too bad, so sad.
Right. So, can you explain how that happened, though?
The Big Bang?
Yeah.
I can explain the happenings of the Big Bang, but what happened before the Big Bang or what made the Big Bang begin happening? Nope, don't know.
I mean, so how did the universe start expanding? Where did it come from? I
don't know.
I can't explain that.
Don't know.
I guess we just don't know things, man, until we find out.
There's a huge amount that we do know, and then there are things we don't know, correct? What does that prove? What do you think, what is the meta-narrative that you think is accomplished by you saying we don't know where the universe came from?
How do you measure the expansion of
So the
universe?
question was, what meta-narrative do you think you are accomplishing by pointing out that that we don't know where the universe came from?
Well, it's mostly that, you guys act like you know so much, but in reality, you're just as lost as any other people, right? Like, you guys claim that you know all this, you know all that, the world or the universe is billions of years old, or millions.
Yep, we know that.
How? How do you know, though? That's my point. You weren't alive back all the way then to where you're like, oh, yeah, I know this because I was there.
Did the Civil War happen?
Yeah.
How do you know? Were you there?
There's history books written about it.
So?
I mean, there's no history books of, the Big Bang or the expansion of the universe.
Yeah, we can observe it happening today. You can't watch the Civil War happen, but we can observe the Big Bang today.